Hello, my name is Mr. Lopez. I am an assistant principal at Rico High School, and today I am pleased to read for you If I Ran the Circus by Dr. Seuss. We should start. It says, in all the whole town, the most wonderful spot is behind Sneelock's store in the big vacant lot. It's just the right spot for my wonderful plans, said young Morris McGurk, if I clean up the cans. Now, a fellow like me, said young Morris McGurk, could get rid of this junk with a half-hour's work. I could jack up those weeds and chop down the dead tree and haul off those old cars. There are just 2 or 3. And then the whole place would be ready, you see. All ready to put up the tents for my circus. I think I will call it the Circus McGurkus. The Circus McGurkus, the world's greatest show on the face of the earth or wherever you go. The Circus McGurkus, the cream of the cream. The Circus McGurkus, the circus supreme. The Circus McGurkus, colossal, stupendous, astounding, fantastic, terrific, tremendous. I'll bring in my acrobats, my jugglers, and clowns from 1,033 faraway towns to the place that you'll see them in, ladies and gents, right behind Sneelock's store in the great McGurk tents. And I don't suppose old Mr. Sneelock would mind when he suddenly has a big circus behind. After all, Mr. Sneelock is one of my friends. He might even help out doing small odds and ends. Doing little odd jobs, he could be one of some aid, such as selling balloons and the pink lemonade. I think 500 gallons would be about right. And then I'll be ready for opening night. What an opening night! What a night! What a sight! I'll hoist up the curtains. The crowds will crowd in, and my Circus McGurkus will promptly begin. With a welcoming toot on my welcoming horn by my horn-tooting apes from the jungles of Jorn, where the very best horn-tooting apes are all born, 'cause very fresh air there is fine for their lungs, and some of those fellows have 2 or 3 tongues. This way, step right in. This way, ladies and gents. My sideshow starts here in the first of my tents. When you see what goes on, you'll say no other circus is half the great circus the Circus McGurkus is. Here on stage 1, from the ocean of Ulf, is the sight most amazing, a walrus named Rolf. We can stand on the one whisker, this wonder for Rolf, on the top of the 5 balls, 2 for tennis, 3 golf. It's a marvelous trick, if I say so myself. And on stage number 2, here is something quite new. From a country called Froom comes this droon, tumid snum, who can drum any tune that you might care to hum. Doesn't hurt him a bit, 'cause his drum tummy's numb. And you'll now meet the Foon, the remarkable Foon, who eats sizzling hot pebbles that fall off the moon. And the reason he likes them red hot, it appears, if he greatly enjoys blowing smoke from his ears. Of course, pebbles like this are quite hard to collect, but Sneelock will manage, somehow, I expect. After all, Mr. Sneelock is one of my friends, and I'm sure he'll help out doing small odds and ends. And on stage number 4, see the wily Wooloo, who can throw his long tail as a sort of a Sioux, with a flip of the hip, with a tail of his kind. He can capture whoever is standing behind. He can capture old Sneelock. I'm sure he won't mind. And now, here is a hoodwink, who winks in his winkwood. Without a good wink hood, a hoodwink can't wink good. And, folks, let me tell you, there's only one circus with wink-hooded hoodwinks. The Circus McGurkus. The show of all shows, there's no other showman who shows you a show with a blindfolded bowman. The blindfolded bowman from Bigger by Root, the world's sharpest sharpshooter. Look at him shoot through the holes in 4 donuts, 2 hairs on a worm, and the knees of 3 birds, without making them squirm. And then on threw a crab apple up on the head of Sneerlock, who likes to help out, as I've said. And now come to this spot, when the spotlight is hot, and you'll see the spotlight, a juggling jout. Who can juggle some stuff? You might think he could not, such as 22 question marks, who is a lot, also 44 commas, and also 1 dot. That's the kind of circus McGurkus I've got. But that's just my sideshow, a start, a beginning. This way to the big tent. You'll find the head spinning. Why, ladies and gentlemen, youngsters and oldsters? Your heads will quite likely spin right off your shoulders. So hurry, step lively, quick, ladies and gents, and get into your seats in my tent of all tents. My parade of parades is about to commence. You'll see dumb Major Sneerlock fling-flying his baton, and my organ, McGurkus, come on, with his hot steamy pipes of gold brass-plated tin, snorting all sorts of snorts in a bumbling din. That is stupendous, stupendous, and when I play Dixie, please join in the chorus. Then a fluff muffled tuffle will ride on a huffle, and next in the line, a femme flummox will shuffle. The flummox will carry a lurch in a pail, and a fibble will carry the flummox's tail, while on top of the flummox, 3 harp twanging snarps will twang mighty twangs on their 3 sharper harp, while bolster blows floops on the 3 nozzle blueser, a noster blows floops on a 1 nuzzle newser. And then comes on Lion, who's partly a trout, then more stuff for 45 minutes about. And then behind them, then while everyone stares, come my to and from marchers who march in 5 layers. The first march on toes, and the toes march on froze. Don't know how they do it, but that's how it goes. And now comes an act of enormous. No former performers performed this performance. This stunt is too grippling, slipping, frightening, down from the top of my tent like greased lightning, though pots full of lots of big stricklebrush trees. Slides a man, what a man, on his roller skits, and he'll steer without fear, and you'll know at a glance that it's Sneerlock, the man who takes chance after chance, and he won't even rip a small hole in his pants. And now in here, in this cage, is a beast most ferocious, who's known far and wide as the spotted atrocious, who growls, howls, and yowls, the most blood-curdling sounds, and each tooth in his mouth weighs at least 60 pounds. And the chews up and eats with the greatest of ease, things like carpets and sidewalks, and people and trees. But the great Colonel Sneerlock is just the right kind of a man who can tame him. I'm sure he won't mind. Then I'll let Sneerlock out for a few minutes rest, while high over your heads you will see the best of the world's finest, fanciest, breezy trapezing. My Zuma Soup troop from the West Upper Bendizing, who never quite know while they zoop and they zoom, whether which will catch what one, or who will catch whom, or if who will catch which, by the what and just where, or just when and just how, in which part of the air. Hey, what a circus, my circus McGurkus. My workers love work, they say. Work us, please work us. We'll work and we'll work up so many surprises you never see have if you had 40 eyes. And now, again, Sneerlock. Brave Sneerlock is back, risking life on my patented life-risking track. While he speedsters, I call my colliding collisions, race round in swift cars called abrasion contusions. And Sneerlock just lies there, not one but excited. I know he won't mind, he'll be simply delighted. And here is a contest of brute strength and muscle. Kid Sneerlock, my champion of all champs, will now tussle and wrestle a beast called the Grizzly Ghastly, and slap him around, then he'll slap him down fastly, and pin both his shoulders tight flat to the mat. Kid Sneelock will love it, I'm sure about that. Then the whole tent will ring with hoorays and wild shouts when I wheel in my whales and they turn on their spouts. First my whale number one, with an aim that aims true, spores a spout, the spout's Sneelock to the whale number two, and then whale number two spouts his spout like a gun, and that spout spouts old Sneelock right back to whale one, and then forwards and backwards on spout after spout. My great spout rider Sneelock gets spouted about, just as long as the water their spouting holds out. And while all this wild ruckus goes on below, at the top of the tent, look at the star of my show, great daredevil Sneelock, the world's bravest type. He comes pulled through the air by 3 Siberian snipe. On a dingus contraption attached to his pipe, while people below are all turning chalk white, and all biting their fingernails off in their fright, great Sneelock soars up to a terrible height. Then he snakes himself loose. He starts down in a dive, such as no man on earth could come out of alive. But he smiles as he falls, and no fear does he feel. His nerves are like iron, and his muscles like steel. And he plunges down, with his hair still combed neat, 4,692 feet. Then he'll land in a fishbowl. He'll manage just fine. Don't ask how. He'll manage. That's his job, not mine. Why? He'll be a hero. Of course, he won't mind when he finds that he has a big circus behind. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it was a pleasure for me to read for you If I Ran the Circus by Dr. Seuss. I wish you have a wonderful day, and don't forget to have a love for reading.